here right now still cut off from the public. We just saw a deer. So here is no people here. You can see this is aftermath. Oh, burnt structures, cars, trees. We just saw some wild animals, but no human being. And this is also my first time coming to the aftermath area. So first, please allow me to introduce our special guest. It's the citizen or the resident from the town of Paradise. So here is the northern part of California. We talk about the climate here, actually quite favorable. We're in the winter. This is the winter time. You see what I'm wearing. This is 4 o'clock afternoon, so not that cold. So we just wear a t-shirt and a fleece. So this is a very tranquil area, very friendly to elderly people. So people worked in Los Angeles. After they retired, they actually moved to the town of Paradise. So we talk about 65% of the population, actually the elderly people. So from Sacramento to here, before actually here, the housing not that expensive, and the whole beautiful scene actually is really good to live. So average price for the housing actually is 200,000, 300,000. But you talk about the same structure in San Francisco, that would be above $1 million. So right now, this is aftermath. We will also visit other places, but you can see here, this is heavily burnt. So before, this is actually one of the busiest streets, but right now, nothing left. So we coming here. This is one of a local car repairman shop. This is one of the largest one. Why so many cars here? Because actually without early warning, people actually rush out. So not only for the owner of the car factory, also for the other residents here. So just around 8:30 a.m. So I had a restaurant. So I actually not really early bird. Suddenly my friend called me at 8:30 morning. My friend says, go, go, go. So I actually called the whole family. We should rush out with our passport. We only got our passport with us. So it just had a dog. So they actually had 2 cars. So we drove the 2 cars and with our dog. I also knocked doors of my neighbors. And my neighbor actually quite elderly people. We're so friendly. We're really good. They're U.S. citizens. They're U.S. people. They are still enjoying their coffee. So enjoy their breakfast. I said we should rush, go. Because my friend told us actually already burned a lot of places. So it's really emergent. So we just follow the whole pipeline. So we all drive cars to leave. So what about the traffic? You saw the smokes, fires, or the trees already burnt. Actually, already see the flame. So my wife called me. So we still need to wait in a line because that's the whole traffic line there. Yes, we saw a tree burned. So the tree burned like a torch. So this is a mailbox. And look at here. So this should be their front door. This should be a house. This should be their front door, and we inside their house. Right now, just the total burnt. So a lot of people actually they use a lot of wooden structure for their housing. And look at the telegraph pole. They're already carbonized. Like, look at this one. I think that should be electric meter box. That should be the meter. And right now it's all burnt. And also that should be the barbecue grave, but right now actually we cannot really tell. Look at the tree. It's all in black. So the tree at least 20 meters. So you can tell how big the fire was. So right now I believe all metals left and wooden structure actually all burnt. But talk about the metals actually also melt or carbonized. So this is what we got here. So we talk about maybe we can take one of the piece of metal back home as a memory of this deadliest disaster. So don't worry, actually all these there's no any danger to us. So this is, I believe, the garbage bin, right? So Udi, I saw one of your employees was living here before, right? Yes. I can tell you actually when he left his home, his front door already burnt, already on fire. So why he left so late? So this area actually is the first place. So we talk about actually 7 or 8 o'clock, these places already in fire. And this is not the only place, but this is the first place. So not just Udi and his employee, and also other places we visited yesterday. Nobody. That's a little girl, Joshua, her boyfriend. What they told us was that when they saw the news, and they called their family member because their family member didn't aware of this, how serious the fire was. The family said that we were fine. So we're not really forced to leave actually for this area. So we talk about when the fire just suddenly came in front of their front door. So Udi, his employee, and also people not really left their house because they didn't aware how serious the situation was. And in the end, they just left it so late. We are not experts. We don't know whether we can give early warning to the people, or how early the warning can be sent out to the people living here. But the thing is that actually people not really received a warning. So 85 people died. This is one of the deadliest disaster. That is also why this fire caught people's attention. Look at California, top 5 wildfire disaster. The rest of 4, the total number of victims actually less than the victims at this time. So this is right now ranking top 1 as the deadliest disaster. So not only at the northern part of California, we also had the area actually also called burn fire in the southern part of California, and their luxury house also burned out. Another reason why we invited Udi for our live stream. So this one, Udi, you know this structure, right? That's my restaurant. It's a bar plus a Chinese restaurant. And this is the oldest structure in Paradise. So that's started from 1937, and even earlier than that, as actually renovated in 1937. I believe the house actually enjoyed more than 100 years of history. So this is covering a quite large area, and this is our backyard. Look at this big tree. It's very straight and very tall. Look at the yard. We have some tables and a lot of beer bottles. Look at all the spirit bottles and also bottles for beer. This is the picture. It's our original look. So this is before disaster. This is the restaurant and the bars. And this is the tree. This is just after renovation. And look at the fire. They saw the smoke. And people gathering here in the parking lot. Look at this crowd. This is at 8, right? So people gathering here and waiting for evacuation. And this is inside the bar. This is all my employees and their spouse. Also have the live band. And then right now, here we go. This is how it looks like now. So when I saw Udi a couple days ago, I said, for your losses, of course you have insurance, but I cover half of them. But actually how we can make the profit back? Udi said, that's not important right now. I have no business. I have no job. We talk about this should be 2 years later, because a lot of people actually left the town, left the Paradise. This is quite a rough number and a very conservative number. First, still No drinking water, no access to drinking water, no power, no gas. The PG&E company, I also talked to them. So they're saying like as early as next year Q1, the gas can be used here in the town. So right now, no access to the gas. So it's a private sector. So not a lot of people actually work in this area. So look at the pipeline, just quite few people working on it. I said, why are you not sending more people? They said, we will. But right now the situation is not having enough hands. And this is actually a big workload. So Woody said for the town of Paradise, 95% of structures are destroyed. Only 5% structures left. So this is 1 month after the disaster because no people really coming here to tidy all this up, to clean all this up. So after 1 month, we still can see all these mess. So you can see the cars. PG&E is the private company. You say you work against clock, you work 24 hours. Because in China, we always think that actually all the clearance, the relief work, everything should be actually against the clock, should work day and night. Right? We talk about the rescue work should really continue around the clock. People saying like we here, we just work on the regular time. We work after the sunrise and we went home after sunset. So they need 1 year to clean all this up. And then they need to rebuild the whole area and then people will come back. So for Woody's restaurant, 2 years just actually so conservative. People doing business, this is so worried because for this area, at least 2 years later, people start to coming back. So another question I'm always thinking about. So talk about the northern and southern part of California. Many places catch fire. The same situation, if it happened in China, actually that should be mobilized. The working force around China. So talk about Chinese people overseas. We talk about 20,000 population in China, in town of California. That's a small county in China. A small county, let's say, if suffer from this disaster, the Chinese government work so hard, spare no time to save the town, save the county. And they had their plans. They have their action plan. They have their overarching plan. They will rebuild the whole county and even beautiful than before. But we talk about 2 years, just our best wishes, our hope. But we talk about California people, no matter it's firefighters, and also the police, actually what they are doing is they excavate people. And they already left. So they had a FEMA project, but if actually your structure is still there, your house is still there, then not really nothing related to FEMA, because not really cover your losses. So Woody, the insurance company, look at our house because our house is still there. At the very beginning, they gave us 1,000 US dollars, and my son in the university, so they give additional $500, far from our loss. So for Chinese people here, the good thing is like we have a habit for saving money, so that's good that we have some money at the bank. So still, Woody had a house there. No gas, no electricity. So people cannot really live here. So 1 month ago until now, just 1 month, so they just got 1,000 US dollars plus additional $500. So just now total $1,500 in total is what Udi got from the insurance company. Not really receive, or the rest maybe go to the bank for a loan. So 7% as the interest rate, actually quite high. So let's say interest rate is to 2% to 7%. This is the fact. We're not saying it's pros or cons, but this is the fact. That's also quite hurt. So yesterday I also asked Joshua and his brave girlfriend. Well, just in the park or in others parking lot. The temperature overnight is around 10, around 1 or even 0 degrees Celsius. Actually, California people helping each other. Either living in our friend's house, Woody Reynolds living in one of his friends' parking lots. No heating, but at least there's some place for Woody to live in. A place with a roof. And luckily, they had a friend. Otherwise, nowhere to live in. I would like to express my gratitude to my friend from Henan because we're from the same places. So the Chinese society actually gave me some help. So we got a help from the Association of Philo Provincials. We'll talk about this, the townsmen. So look at the parking lot. We just saw the picture, right? So the traffic jam, or actually the cars all packed here because some were catch. The bigger fire is really hard to moving. So we broke the windows. We all stay inside. So our restaurant, because we had water, and we also had the washroom inside. So people gathering here for 1 or 2 hours. As the resettlement area. So this is actually the window broken by the police to let the people stay inside. So let's look at the other places. Let's look at their commercial facilities like the gas station, nursing house, and bars, restaurant. So this is actually one of the busiest streets in the town of Paradise. So let's drive in the car. to look around.
往这条路上走，大家可以看到曾经最繁华的这条街。
So they before should be one of the busiest street. Let's look at how it looks now after 1 month.
之前给大家多展示展示吧。好，好，好，好，那你行啊，走。
昨天你采访那个人事啊他们的时候，他们回答你那个政府帮忙的那个回答，我觉得
对，
很能说明问题。
就是，其实就是。
So yesterday we interviewed a couple.
他们是刚从外边回来，因为之前
So they just came back from other state. So they, even though they had money, but they cannot really rent house because all occupied. So talk about the hotels. Fully occupied.
因为这边附近的酒店全部都住满了，连那个叫什么 motel 叫什么？
Talk about the motels, hotels. No room available. So you can see right now all these engineering trucks. So no people actually work because it's time for them to going back home. So it's off work. So here is totally cut off from the public. No people living in this town.
而我们说的这一切的这个现象，其实是在火灾发生之后1个多月的时间。这也是个小修理。
So today, just 1 month after the wildfire, and this is another car repairing factory.
到底水和火灾有多厉害？因为之前经常会去直播一些飓风啊，海啸。
We talk about hurricanes or the tsunami disaster.
对，确实是那个水其实挺可怕的。
We talk about fire and water have no mercy. So in China, we always talk about water and fire show no sympathy to man.
稍微停一下，我去外边说2句，我待会儿回来啊。然后火呢，这其实是我第一次来到这个火灾的灾后的。
And this is my first visit to the aftermath
但是我觉得
of a wildfire. So this is really shocking.
民间他们的互助还是挺多的。
But we can see a lot of interactions or they're helping each
不
other.
管是我亲眼看见的，还是采访中得知的，就他们这儿的
The people really help themselves and others.
很乐意互相帮助的，不管是他们互相之间的捐款，还是说问候，
So either donate the money
还是说像乌迪这样
or give some helping hands.
家的仇富的去住，
Or like a Udi's friend,
一些就是
invite Udi to live in their house.
就是还是想说明一个问题，就是大家可以看水火无情。这儿对，这是原先的是一个住家户，所有的木质结构。
This should be a house. All the wooden structures are burnt out, all metals left, and only one wall left.
那是个烟囱吧，应该。壁炉对吧？壁炉，对对对，走烟嘛，烟道嘛。那是个壁炉。
And the fireplace left, right?
刚乌迪说看看
That's the furnace left.
为什么叫天堂镇？
So this is the town of paradise.
就是它气候宜人，而且消费低。
Though the climate was so favorite and actually the living expense is quite affordable.
我光说大家可能想。
Very beautiful scene.
好，我们来给观众们看一下，这个广大网友看一下这个地方风景，其实还是很美的哈，远
So
山。
look at
现在正好是
the
落日的
picture
时
as
候。
scenes. So this is a sunset.
这个即使是手机的镜头拍摄也很美了，已经，而且没做任何
Even just through the
光线的
phone,
变化，只是用手机的镜头来拍摄这个
you can tell they're just part of the scene.
这个夕阳的景
This really beautiful. This is a sunset scene.
对，
其实这个
So here always enjoy the picturesque landscape. So that's also part of the reason why it's called paradise.
我们左手边现在应该就是被烧的这一家，
So on the left hand side, there should be usually a house there.
随处可见，随处可见。
So this is quite frequently seen here in the town of Paradise. Think about 95% of the house burned out. 95% of structures, all like this aftermath.
对，偶尔看到一栋立着的房子，会觉得说，哎呀，好幸运这一家。
So just randomly or very, very
至少这片区域对居民是不开放的。
few buildings standing. That should be the luckily one.
不让你进，另外你也进来。
But still, this area cut off from the public. No access to electricity, no water,
东西的，
no gas.
这还好，没烧到。
继续往前走，去一个更大的那个建筑，是他们当地的一个养老院。
你先上车。
Let's head to a nursing house.
其实他们这儿一个特色，我们一路开过来，一个是景色美，另外就是树多啊。对，我们刚刚说这个是。
So this area, why it's called the town of paradise? Because there's so many trees, plenty of trees.
放到那个
And we can tell it's very easy to catch fire
在警戒下，
and easily to be burned.
景色是非常非常好。
And also look at their house. Actually, they built in a very beautiful landscape, but also so close, too close
非常非常美的。
to the trees.
但是，一着起火来，可是连跑都跑不了。而且就是跟加州的有人分享这个。
And sometimes make it so hard to escape. So we talk about why the fire actually lasts for a month long.
还是它这个着火
We
的山火剂。对，再加
talk
上
about the wildfire actually very easy to be happen
导致它有
in the fall season.
树它根本就没有精力。
And it looks like the trees here.
像这种的，这种是最容易着火的。
These kind of trees actually very easy catch fire.
尤其是着大火之后，它的消防员是不够的。
And for the died and drying trees, no one really clean them out. That's also make the fire so hard
枯木啊，反而
to put out.
你要是每次一着火你就灭，一着火你就灭，你就在憋大招，就这种感觉。其实事实上你在憋大招，就是你一旦你控制不住火势之后，那些
So look at this kind of so many woods here.
就全都成大火的这些燃料。
Make people really hard to escape.
啊，没事没事，别动。就是这是老兵的服务中心，这是一个他们老兵。
And this is service center for veterans.
很多东西都跟老有关系，一个是说他啊，
So a lot of facility related to the elderly people. We talk about nearly half of the population is elderly people.
刚看到老兵服务中心，还有马上就会到的这么一个养老
We talk about the veterans and also nursing house.
周围没有
So this is a really tranquil city or tranquil town.
在站着的。
Nothing really commercial or industrial. So ideal town for people to spend their retired life.
在天黑之前赶紧给大家展示一下，这是一个比较大的一个建筑群了都。
So this is a quite cluster of housing. It should be a nursing home or nursing houses.
我刚才说是几万棵树来不及清理，我后来查了一下资料，其实不是几万棵，是上亿棵。
I look up the information. Actually, around 130 million trees. That's the died or drying trees because no hydrate inside the tree. So for these kind of trees, really easy to catch fire. So this is a nursing house. So people above 65 years old is okay for them to live in. So we also have the food delivery service to here.
芥蓝牛，这是可能国内的朋友不太知道，就是他们这个就跟不知道什么肉都可以跟。
So the sour and sweet pork is one of their favorite dishes.
那叫西兰花。
Broccoli beef. Also, they're one of the favorite dish. So they really like this kind of Chinese food. How many people accommodate here? We don't have the number available. But I don't think, because this time no warnings, no one received warnings. No one really imagined how serious it was. And the California government actually released a weather report in August. We talk about the wildfire actually drew people's attention. So we talk about they had a survey. So we talk about if we have the carbon dioxide emission keep increasing and 77%, or let's say double the wildfire disaster doubled in the coming years. So we talk about this time, 85 people died in this time. And the wildfire disaster will be doubled as the greenhouse gases is keeping emits to the air. And the wildfire disaster actually happened nearly every year. We talk California GDP actually is quite high. We talk about cutting trees. Have two considerations. If you cut the tree, then less possibilities to have this wildfire. But the trees can absorb carbon dioxide. If we cut the tree, which means carbon dioxide will be emitted to the air, to the environment. And for California, we talk about actually they have a quite large population, where the population quite in a high density, in a smaller town. And talk about California will really attract a lot of migrant workers. We talk about actually California sunshine, sunlight. David Tao is a Chinese singer, has a song. We talk about the California sunshine. So we talk about the weather or the climate is so friendly for people to living in California. So they have a lot of immigration and also quite near to Mexico. So this is a quite pleasant place for people to come here, to work, to live in. And a lot of people also actually make their house in this kind of trees, surrounded by the trees. They really like to live in this picturesque landscape. But look at all these trees. Very easy to catch fire. You buy insurance. But this time, actually, look at the town of Paradise. Insurance company cannot really cover all the bills, all the losses, because they don't have that asset, don't have that capability to cover all these losses. So this is a really serious issue. And also insurance company also can go bankruptcy. The California's government saying that because this is not a human reason for this kind of wildfire disaster. We don't say they're shirk from their responsibility, but we tell that this is the fact. Donald Trump saying that this is the poor management, nothing related to the weather. We talk about global warming, actually. It's not something real. It's just a scientist saying this. And Donald Trump also paid a visit here. But the thing is, the federal government and state government saying that should be the human reason, or this is the carbon dioxide or the global warming issues. We don't know the reasons. But this is the fact. Look at the sunset clouds. The town of Paradise. It should be a reason why it has this name. But right now, we still enjoy this beautiful scene, but look at the whole surrounding area. Nothing left. All burned out. Look at the trees. Actually, we can tell here. Look at the scenes of devastation. There should be somewhere or something like national park. You have access to the gas, to electricity, to water. It's a great loss, very pity for us. But we talk about people will coming back 2 years later. Maybe for elderly people, like some of the American people thinking that they should live with the family. And this is quite the same philosophy shared with the Chinese people. They would like to live with the family, live with their children. For the victims, they cannot really escape by themselves. And people live in the wheelchair. Not very easy for them to leave the place. 85 people died. And also people still missing. So this natural disaster or human beings' reason. So they already bring one of the facility company to the court. Look at the big data. 80% of the wildfire actually is because of human beings. We don't know if this time for the human being reason or the nature. So this is how it looks like aftermath, after 1 month. So Woody, I believe, been here for 8 years and been in the United States for 20 years. So the wildfire in the United States of California destroyed more than 20,000 structures. Thank you for watching. So look at the sunset clouds and also this mass. So this is 1 month after the wildfire happened in the town of Paradise.
而且您儿子现在马上大学毕业了，又增加一份少了一份支出，增加一份收入。明天会更好，希望如此。
Tomorrow is another day. We still have a promising and brighter future. So look at this wildfire in the United States of California destroyed more than 20,000 structures and becoming both one of the deadliest and the most destructive wildfire in U.S. history. And Woody would like to be back to China for a month or two. Because when people face this kind of disaster, they really miss home. They really would like to go back home. All right. Thank you for tuning in with CGTN. So the once beautiful and tranquil town of Paradise has been devastated. Thank you for watching. Thank you, Woody. Thank you, our cameraman. See you next time.